Hi, and welcome back to Thone's Nibbles, number 170. Ephesians 2 is the general subject area, and we're going to be talking about the quickening to a new life. Now, the reading comes from Ephesians chapter 2, verses 1 through 5, the very beginning of Ephesians 2. And you have made alive who were dead in trespass and sins, in which you once walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit who now works in the sons of disobedience, among whom also we all once conducted ourselves in the lusts of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of as the others. But God, who is rich in mercy, because of his great love with us, he loved us even when we were dead in trespass, made us alive together with Christ. By grace you have been saved. This is an exciting one, right? So we have, we start out having a worldly walk. We walk through the world. We walk around wherever our hometown is, or wherever our state is, or our country is, or whatever, wherever we travel. And we have a worldly walk. That is, we have various things may be wrong with us. It may be that we are greedy in money. It may be that we are lustful in eyesight. It may be that we are not afraid to lie, to get our way. Or whatever sin you can think of, that's what he's talking about. That's our worldly walk. But now we are coming from that worldly walk to salvation. And after we are saved, then we don't have a worldly walk anymore. We may have the same desires, we may have the same inclinations, but we have Jesus' blood to wipe out those wrongs that we have done in a spiritual sense. That is, we will go to heaven no matter which of those things we might do. But also, we have a responsibility to try to not do those things, and therefore we have a different outlook on things. We know that we have the weaknesses that we always had, whether it be lust of the eyes, or lust for money, or lust for power, or for adoration, or whatever. All of those things didn't go away. However, what went away is what we still will pay the consequences if we commit those acts on earth. If we rob a bank, then we will, if caught, will be punished. And that, and the same thing if we commit adultery, or if we lie to get into political office. All of those things, if that was our weakness, we still have that weakness. However, we have both a forgiveness of that weakness, and at the same time, planted deep inside us is the Holy Spirit, who is trying to help us overcome that weakness. So, why is this in the Bible? It's our transformation in the new life. This is the transformation. This is the, some people call it the transaction. If you go buy a car, there comes a point where you've signed some paperwork and you shake hands with the person who's selling you the car, and the transaction is done. And in the same sense, if we believe in Jesus and in what God tells us, and we go learn more and we learn more and we learn more, and suddenly we say, yes, Lord, then that transaction is done. We shake hands with the Lord, not physically, but very much spiritually, and the transformation in to our new life has begun. It's written for all believers, and the communication is, this is from sin to salvation. Worldly walk to salvation, sin to salvation. Worldly walk implies the general group of sins that we may be committing, and now we're talking about just any sin in particular. The application to my life. We should always remember where our salvation came from. Not from the world, not from Satan, certainly, not from our good acts. That will be salvation by works, but from the love and grace of God. And He loved us all, every single one. And then so He offered this plan of salvation, which involved a sacrifice of His Son. And then that was the grace He gave us. That is the grace of salvation. God says to me, follow in the footsteps of Jesus. How hard could that be? Very hard. But it doesn't take a lot of understanding. It doesn't take a lot of... You don't have to be learned in the Scriptures to understand that, if you've read one of the Gospels, even just one, you understand that He was a special man. And following in His footsteps will require us to be special people. And so it's... the idea is very, very simple. We just follow as best we can the footsteps of Jesus. My personal response. Lord, thank You for reminding us about the truth, about our evil acts, and the grace we received from Jesus' death for our salvation. So, that's kind of the whole thing. He first reminds us about what the truth is, that we're all sinners, and there's lots of things that we should be doing that we aren't doing, or there's lots of things that we are doing that we should not be doing. And that's the evil acts. But then we reminded of the grace we received from Jesus' death for our salvation. So, we're no longer bad people. We're still bad people, because that won't end until we have our new bodies, either in heaven or on the way to heaven if we get raptured. But we just, all of these things are coming. We know they're coming. We know beyond any shadow of a doubt that as a believer, we believe that Jesus gave His life, His blood on Calvary, that He died, that He was buried, that He resurrected 3 days later, and that nothing will be the same again because of that. And then we simply have to ask, Lord, save me. I believe, save me. And then we receive all of that, all the stuff that comes along with that. And it's really a marvelous, marvelous thought to perceive. So, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.